Hey everyone, checking in on the cryptocurrency space, living that Saturday morning robe life, and checking in on the bulls starting to show up overnight. So we'll look at the weekly time frames and we'll zoom in from there as the weekly candlesticks are going to close in a couple days. So here we have Bitcoin. We know we're in a tightening range with our low, high of the bounce, higher low at 33.37, and the bulls are attempting to change the weekly trend. We rejected 3 weeks ago, but we never rejected hard enough to lose the daily uptrend. The daily uptrend remained intact that whole time. So we're seeing a higher low every single week for 6 weeks in a row. So this is still all the same bull move attempt to get to that resistance. And for this to be a true equilibrium, we would need to see a rejection and then a pullback, lose the daily uptrend, and try and form a higher low compared to 33.37. So at this point, it's still just a low, high, higher low, and these are the bulls attempting for that higher high. They've been battling the weekly exponential resistance, trying to get over that this week. It's still going to be a low volume week, so I'm not going to anticipate any kind of major action. If we're going to see any kind of, huge follow through on a break or anything like that, there's going to have to be big volume associated with that. So keeping an eye on volume as always. But looking at the daily time frame, we had a bit of a frustrating fake out. And here's the daily higher low pattern. Every single pullback maintaining higher lows. And we had the fake out day 2 days ago. We'll look at the details in just a second. But we held that support. And that support held by less than $10. And now we're getting the bullish continuation. So it's frustrating for me personally because this is the move that I was looking for to follow through. I had an ETH position anticipating getting into the area of a lack of resistance on this daily time frame. Both ETH and BTC have this area. And also got into an XRP position on its break. I still have a small position there. I exited a little more than half of it, but it's not what it would be if we didn't get the fake out day. So here on the fake out day, in true crypto fashion, we had pretty much a move to piss off everybody. We had a big bull move to piss off the bears, a big dump to piss off the bulls, and there you go. An hour later, we're exactly back to where we started with nothing changing. So all it did was trigger orders, trigger stops, and then we just traded sideways for a really long time until the bulls showed up and proved that they had the upper hand still. So where we stand right now, we're seeing a bit of a pullback, it looks like, and that's actually a more convincing pullback. So we had the high of the bull move, which is still $200 shy, about 5% shy of that weekly resistance. Low of consolidation, extremely healthy. Bulls try for continuation, and they fell. So it's a more significant pullback with a lower high and lower low. So that's on the hourly. So that tells me to zoom out to the 4 hour and look for a 4 hour higher low to form and watch the 4 hour, the exponential supports, the 12 and 26 period. So the RSI got overextended. So this consolidation, there's no red flags at this point. It's still pretty healthy. And the bulls need to take their time and build support levels on the way up to this key resistance test on the daily chart. Anything above 38.46, or I should say 37.79 here on Coinbase will maintain the higher low pattern. And again, there's just a lack of resistance as we head up to 41.89 and then that 42.37 level. So overall, the bulls do have the upper hand. And you can see that even though we had some long lower wicks in here, every single candlestick closed above the 12 period exponential moving average over the last week and a half, 2 weeks almost. So if we had to pick, short term, who's in control, it is the bulls. They didn't make us comfortable about it until this move this morning. And we're going to see if they can keep that 4 hour uptrend at this point. So we want to look at this from multiple perspectives, whether we're looking bearish or we're looking bullish. The play to look bearish is fairly simple in the sense that we have the resistance very clearly established. So it would be a top fishing play with 42.39. I called it 37. 42.39 is the level that would trigger shorts to cover and bulls to go long. So that would be our line in the sand where if making a bearish entry, we're going to top fish and use that resistance level as a stop. Otherwise, more patient bears are going to wait for the daily higher low pattern to be lost, and then they'll make an entry assuming that weekly consolidation to form a higher low is going to then play out from there. So that's the bears' two situations. They're either being aggressive and top fishing, or they're being patient and waiting for a loss of the daily uptrend. For the bulls at this point, if not already in positions, the bulls need to decide, are they going to be looking to enter on 4 hour consolidation? Are they confident enough that we're going to make a bull move through these resistance levels? For me personally, I don't like the risk to reward in the sense that we're so close to these resistances that I almost want to wait for the bulls to prove it, because I know the bears are going to be sitting there at that line. It's almost like if you're imagining, a battle, the bulls are going to get over the ridge and there is going to be a wall of bears sitting on these resistance levels. And the question is going to be, do the bulls have enough volume and enough momentum to get over that? So I want to personally wait a little bit. It's almost like if you were on the sideline of the battle and you're waiting, you could either jump on in before you're going to head over the ridge, or you can wait until the battle starts a little bit and you can see, well, we might win this one, and then jump in. Seems like a little bit of a cowardly way to go about it, but if I were going to make an analogy, that's what I would look at here. So being a little bit more patient for the bulls would give up some percentage gains, but it would eliminate a lot of risk in terms of, setting just another lower high and continuing to tighten on this weekly time frame. So those are the scenarios of where we stand. If you're already in a position, hopefully you've already got your game plan established. And I am going to personally just continue to monitor my XRP position and be patient, because again, we're so close to the proximity of these resistances that are so key that I am going to hold off and patiently watch. And I'm going to watch volume, because if we're going to break those levels, there's going to be big volume associated with it, because the bulls are going to have to bring the volume and bring the heavy artillery to get over that resistance. So here's ETH. And back when I made an entry, I believe it was back here a week ago, I was looking for the higher low to be set, and I was looking for the bulls to make their way up over 140 and 141, because there's no resistance up there. We ended up getting all the way up to 147 this morning, but there is a big upper wick of profit taking. So if we look at it on the hourly time frame, there's the shift in trend. So we zoom out to the 4 hour and we can see a big upper wick. We are going to form a 4 hour higher low, more likely than not, with the exponential supports here, but it is a bit weaker. And let's just double check that. Let's go ETH BTC to see what this comparison looks like. And I'm assuming, well, actually ETH did come out. It's pretty much the same chart for Bitcoin right now. So ETH is gaining a little bit of ground on Bitcoin. Let's see if this daily equilibrium is here, and it is. So we got the low, high. This is worth watching for just determining whether ETH or BTC would be the better bull play. And Litecoin has been the best bull play. We'll look at it in just a second. But we did just double top right there. So a double top and a tightening daily range. But looking for a break of this tightening range on ETH BTC to determine who is stronger in the short term out of those two names. Litecoin continues to do its thing like a boss. Daily uptrend, extremely strong. This is the kind of chart that you look at and there's way less fake outs compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's just a steady uptrend on the daily time frame with no loss of the daily uptrend. I mean, to look at when this daily uptrend started, pretty much since 2217, we have not lost the daily uptrend. And you could actually say, let's go forward a little bit. Pretty much since right here, this zone right here, we have not lost the daily uptrend. Every single move is a daily higher low being established. Most recently, right off the daily exponential support, 52.15 is that new level. And we just saw a very significant 15% plus move to get up over 60. So we know the weekly time frame is the strongest on Litecoin. We know the exponential moving averages are going for a bull cross sometime in the next couple of weeks. We're over those exponential resistances. And the next resistance that we're looking up here in this range is 65.60 and 69.44. So easily the strongest chart, easily the clearest daily uptrend, increasing bull volume on this follow through. Looking at the hourly consolidation, again, even that is looking more bullish than Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the 4 hour time frame, higher low looking to be established, keeping the bulls in control, and it is just the lead bull. So in hindsight, for my play attempt on Ethereum, looking for it to be a laggard, I should have gone with Litecoin and just stuck with the strongest lead bull, because I would still be in a position, it looks like, if that were the case. So congrats to the bulls here. No resistance really clearly on Litecoin nearby. So at this point, the bears aren't looking to touch Litecoin unless we lose the 4 hour uptrend. But even then, I would go with the weaker names rather than try and take down the hero of Litecoin. So 4 hour consolidation, you can see inside bar, bear break, healthy 4 hour pullback, clear lead bull out of the major names is Litecoin. So XRP had the bull break, and here's all that fake out activity. Big upper wick, big lower wick, right back to where we started. And now the bulls are trying to get some follow through, but clearly they're seeing some resistance. If we just put a line at 33, I mean, we can see that we've rejected from 33 the last 4 times we've attempted to get over it. So that's the level that we need to see some daily candlesticks close above for the bulls to prove anything. And if we look at it on the 4 hour time frame, need to hold 3204 to keep the 4-hour higher low intact. A much smaller bull move than these other names, so we don't have as much space to work with to form that 4-hour higher low. But again, just frustrating wicks and frustrating fake outs in both directions before moves taking place. It's almost like wiping the slate clean, getting out stop buys, stop losses, starting back where we were, and then making a move from there. So certainly frustrating. Coinbase Pro, on a side note, has changed their rules, and it now has fees for both maker and taker. So that is going to be a bit of a disadvantage for them, in my opinion, because a lot of the draw to Coinbase was that it was free if you were using limit orders, and that is no longer the case. So keeping an eye on the developments in that front, because still waiting for a very clear leader in the exchange space to emerge, and it's not there yet. So for XRP, we're watching the 4-hour uptrend. If we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we're going to go right back to where we were on the sideways channel on the daily time frame. As far as the weekly chart goes, we got the bull break with no follow through. The exponential resistances, I mean, look at the last couple months with these exponential resistances rejecting the price pretty much a month in a row. And here's a second month in a row rejecting from these levels. So we have to get over them. That's why it's such a big deal that Litecoin has gotten over them, because none of these other major names have. Binance continues to be a lead bull. I mean, Litecoin and Binance are just light years ahead of everybody else in terms of strength. Another little bull flag, another little higher low at 1456, and continuation heading up towards $15.91, $16. The weekly chart is on fire. The next resistance is up at 1738 and 1748. So bulls are just fine. They're in full control. The daily uptrend being lost will tell us healthy weekly consolidation is coming. And this is another one that's just extremely clear. And the way that I like to see trends, with no fake outs, just higher lows and higher highs. Of course, the inability to short is going to take away a lot of the games that are being played on some of these names, but I would be watching for the daily uptrend to remain intact. It's just a clear line in the sand, gauge of strength that we just move up every time we consolidate. And if you are still riding this weekly move from months ago, and you are just walking up your stop loss on the daily higher lows, you're a hero. EOS. So EOS was a bit of a lead bull out of EOS and NEO because we got the bull break back here a week and a half ago. But now we're slowing down a little bit, and NEO's playing catch up, as we'll look at in just a moment. But I'm looking at the low of $3.15, the high of $4, the higher low at $3.49, and now we're looking at $4. And if we can't break $4, we're going to have a tightening daily equilibrium into next week. So if we lose the 4-hour uptrend from here, which is still intact, trying to form that 4-hour higher low right now, but if we were to lose the 4-hour uptrend, the daily equilibrium is going to continue playing out. If we keep that 4-hour uptrend, we still have a shot at breaking that $4 resistance sometime, perhaps today or tomorrow. So it's all about that level, and after 4 is 454 as the recent top. Weekly time frame battling exponential moving averages and getting over one of them, getting over the 12 period, but still battling the 26 period. You can see we were battling the 12 and finally got over it. So we are shifting momentum a bit, and we did change the weekly trend. So let's see if the EOS bulls can break $4. So here's NEO. NEO's breaking resistance. So just that subtle difference. Bigger bull move for EOS 2 weeks ago, but unable to break that top just yet. And NEO, weaker move 2 weeks ago and breaking that top now. So playing catch up to a certain degree with a daily higher low and higher high. So the last daily support level to be watching is 845, 846. And if we lose the 4-hour uptrend, daily consolidation will be coming. Anything above 917 is a 4-hour higher low. So 4 hours still intact with exponential support. Lack of resistance here, 975, 10, and 1084 are the next 3 levels to be watching. TRXUSD, shifting momentum as well. Daily lower highs are breaking, and we need to break this level of 24559. Because if we break that level, we'll have the low of the pullback, high of the bounce, higher low, and that will change the daily trend, and that will tell us our weekly higher low has been established. And that's what we're looking for after a 6 weeks period of consolidation. That's what the bulls want to see, a daily trend change to indicate we're heading back up towards the 3 and the recent high. 3 cents and the recent high up at 35846. So, need follow through still. That's the level to be watching, 2455. And just like who are we looking at there? Just like EOS, if we cannot break that level and we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we're going to look to pull back and form a daily higher low, staying in this tightening range, which has a bit more space than EOS currently has. So potential for a daily equilibrium if we lose the 4-hour uptrend. If we keep the 4-hour uptrend, this resistance is still in sight for the bulls. ONT USD, nice follow through here as well, where we had our long, drawn out, tightening pattern, and it broke bullish just now after a double top. So we had the high, low, lower high, higher low, double top, bull break, not convincing yet. The volume's not convincing, and we need to see a close over 106. And looking at the 4-hour time frame here, just like everybody else, healthy pullback, healthy consolidation. We need one more follow-through move to convincingly get over this 106 resistance, because if we close under 106 today, that's going to essentially be another rejection as far as I'm concerned. So inside bars broke bullish, testing those resistances, getting over them temporarily, but we do need another follow-through move to be comfortable. And looking at the daily chart, anything above 8572 is a higher low. So to sum everything up in generalized formats, the 4-hour consolidation is underway for everybody right now. Everybody still has 4-hour higher lows. If we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we zoom out to the daily chart and we look for the daily chart to try and maintain the uptrends of higher lows. And if we keep the 4-hour uptrend, that's going to be a testament to the strength of the bulls today to be able to follow through after an initial bull move overnight. Now we have a lot of people in the US and Canada and Mexico and all this side of the country, side of the world, waking up, and we'll see if they're going to try and get into some bull moves as well. So that's where we stand overall. Litecoin and Binance continue to be the strongest names. EOS and ONT, or actually EOS and TRX, have potential daily tightening equilibriums to be watching if we do lose that 4-hour uptrend. And we'll see a battle between Bitcoin and Ethereum as to who can take the short-term lead in who is stronger. So that's where we stand. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're not getting too faked out, getting a little bit less frustrating in the space when we at least get clarity and some nice clear trends. And I hope you do good things. We'll check back in and see how this move played out, probably tomorrow, because it'll be interesting to see where we do close this week. And we'll end it off with some story time. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. So we got a lot of pictures this time around. One of the highlights of the trip. So when I was at the Conundrum Hot Springs from last time around, people suggested going to Lake Basin. And I said, sure, why not? I got nothing better to do. So headed that way, just some more campsites along the way, leaving some footprints and some towns. This is Ouray and Silverton that I was going past. Just some really cool small little towns nestled in the heart of some huge mountains with some really cool roads going through them. And there's so many pull-offs and so many views. It's hard to stay concentrated when you are new to Colorado and it's just these massive scenic views all around. There's some really cool colors on these mountains. Obviously doesn't do it justice here, but different minerals eroding away, and red and yellow and brown and orange. There's another little cute town from above. So this is the hike up to Lake Basin, and I was pretty beat up that day. I forget why. It wasn't too brutal of a hike. It was pretty steep, had a big pack on, had a big water jug and all that. But I got to this point, which is pretty much there's two levels. There's one level up and then there's another one. And I saw tents over here and I thought, this is a nice spot, cool mountain, little lake. Maybe I'll just pitch my tent here for the night. And I said, no, I'll keep going up. It might be worth it. And it certainly was one of the best spots that I went to on the entire road trip, just in terms of, astounding beauty. And a fun aside is this has been the background of my computer for the last, I'm not lying, for the last 3 years. And my previous partner went over her house one day, and the background of her computer is pretty much this exact picture, but from maybe 50, 100 feet to the right and in the winter. Exact same place, and it was from her trip to Lake Basin. So that was some pretty cool synergy. But there was a marmot who lived there, some nice wildflowers. The wildflowers were mind-blowing, as you can see. Just, again, so much more than I anticipated would be in a pretty arid environment that is Colorado, but just lush wildflowers at the right time of year. And this was the, surround sound or surround view, panoramic view all around. That's my favorite camping spot. Sweet picture. Did have a thunderstorm roll up out of nowhere. That's the danger. This is up over the tree line, over 11,000 feet up. I think it was somewhere around, I forget, between 11 and 12. But a storm came out of nowhere from behind this ridge and dropped a little bit of snow, a little bit of hail that very quickly melted. But just in terms of the speed that it came over with no warning, but you can't see the clouds on the other side. So that was definitely a wake-up call to be more attentive. This was a rock that a marmot lived under, and that's just his life. This is what he looks at every single day. The rock is pretty much right where I'm standing, and that was blowing my mind. That's just all he knows. That's outside for him. Pretty good luck out in terms of where that dude found to live. So this is now pretty much, I stayed for 2 days, and my agenda was, I wonder what this looks like from that mountaintop or that mountaintop. So this is me exploring right here, this little river that's feeding, or this creek feeding the runoff into this extremely mineral rich, that's why it's this color. Ice cold, did dive in, but you can only stay in there for, a minute or two. But ended up hiking up into that little crevice to see where it went. And there was some cool snow melting and some, again, the white rocks of the minerals running off of the mountains, and some cool sculptures of snow. And that's one of the views from above. And you can see it's just valleys down there below. That's where you hike up. And that's the river that I climbed up. And then you can see it going down even further. That's where my picture was and where I put my tent up. And again, it's the kind of thing where I was alone in this place, the vast majority. There were 2 women that camped a bit further up. And other than that, I had this entire place to myself. This is from another peak. So that last picture was from up here. And then this is from a completely different angle. And it's a good spot. You should go to Ice Lake Basin in Colorado. And that's the view back down the valley from where we hiked up, where I hiked up. And I got all poetic up there. And I do a thing where I associate music with memories. So I have a really good memory in terms of memorizing things in school and memorizing lyrics of songs. So what I'll do is I'll be in a moment and I'll suck in that moment as much as I can while I'm playing music. And I associate that memory and the sense and all my senses with that song. And so for this song, or for this memory, I was sitting up there at sunset and I was playing Fool on the Hill. And so now anytime that I hear Fool on the Hill by the Beatles, I'm taken right back to this spot. And it's a very vivid memory for me. And I do that with a lot of songs and a lot of places that I go. So potentially something you can play with yourself, but it's really good for memory recognition for me to have an audio trigger almost to bring me back into that moment. I got poetic and I wrote something about religion, and I'll see if I can find it. I'll be right back. I can't find it, but I recreated it for this post a while ago. Some of the similar themes. Anyways, that's that. That's Ice Lake Basin, Colorado. Go to it. And we'll see you tomorrow.